Hi guys, Dr. Jordan Axe, and we're going to talk about female hormones. This is a big deal, guys. But one thing you have to realize is hormones are always secondary. That means it's thyroid issues, infections, chronic stress that has now caused the hormones to go high or low. So we want to treat the hormones naturally and take the correct steps, but we also need to realize that's not the root cause. However, correcting them could be crucial and key to you feeling better and having the energy and the balance, the energy really, and the balanced blood chemistry so that you can reach ultimately the results that you're trying to get and do the protocols that you are currently working on. So when we look at female hormones, it's always important to remember that one affects the other, which affects the other. Progesterone is a good place to start because it is the precursor for other hormones. Along with progesterone, that's equally as important to look at is cortisol, which we've talked about before. High cortisol, low cortisol can cause a cascade of other issues with your hormones. So you got to start by looking at your cortisol and your progesterone. And once you look at those are high or low, and you can take a bioidentical or an herb or a supplement to help address those issues, you can then, once that is balanced, recheck your labs, and then you can move on to your other hormones. Because again, by correcting those, it could correct your testosterone or estrogen or your other hormones. So again, look at those first. So the next ones would be estrogen and testosterone, as well as DHEA. Now DHEA would be the next thing to look at because DHEA is a precursor to testosterone. DHEA sulfate on your blood is going to be the best way to look at that. And if your testosterone's low and your DHEA is low, then you may be able to bring your testosterone up just by adding the precursor DHEA. And then lastly would be estrogen. And that's one of the last things that I would get into and rarely needs to be addressed when you address all the other issues. And you can work with that with a local functional medicine doctor that can help get you on a bioidentical hormone to finish getting that balance. But again, it's important to know the order that we want to look and start to treat these. Some other common things you may see on your blood work when you're checking all of your hormones is you could have high testosterone, high DHEA, and oftentimes that's accompanied by high ferritin or iron levels. So that's something to look at in your labs if all of those things are elevated. And that can be from something called PCOS or from a wide variety of other hormonal shifts. So could be from PCOS or something known as estrogen dominance. Estrogen dominance is very common now for women in America, right? That's stressed out, driver personality, on the go, all the time, high strung, causes something called estrogen dominance. And that can bring your iron levels up, your DHEA, testosterone, and so forth. And that can cause weight gain and other hormonal imbalances. So that's one key chain of blood work, that's a pattern on your blood work that you have to look for to rule these things in or out. Because you might say, oh, this one's low, this one's high. That's not the root issue. The root issue is PCOS, estrogen dominance. So let's talk about that now. There's natural ways to treat those things. The best way to treat those conditions, which is very common, is something called DIM. Now, DIM is a compound found in cruciferous vegetables, but you can also buy it as a supplement. And that can actually help break down unhealthy estrogens in the body and help balance your hormones. Now, when you take DIM, it's also important to take a bioidentical progesterone, like we talked about a minute ago, or you could take a more natural version called Vitex. Vitex or Castleberry tree extract is a great extract that works like progesterone, isn't as strong, but can get you some of the same results. So DIM with something like Vitex together can help with PCOS, estrogen dominance. So again, recapping, things we need to look at. We need to look at progesterone and cortisol. We need to get that resolved. And if you have a condition like PCOS or estrogen dominance, and you look at the labs and see ferritin, testosterone, DHEA high, that needs to be addressed as well. Once those are addressed, retest your labs, bring them back to your functional medicine doctor, and if there's still imbalances, then through natural bioidenticals, estrogen, testosterone, and so forth, you can finish balancing your hormones. That's the icing on the cake, guys, but you gotta get to the root cause. You gotta work on the autoimmune condition, you gotta work on the diet, you gotta work on the infections, and then really use these principles I outlined to balance your hormones naturally. I hope that helps, guys, and we'll see you on the next video.